everybody, and welcome to What's Up, Cuz? I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my man who's clapping in the background over there. He is the birthday boy, my cousin, Lance C. Irvin. Happy birthday, man. You the reason why we late.
Woo! No, cuz don't do that. But that is the reason, because I couldn't find the link because I was too busy thinking about the 52 years I've had on this earth. I was going down memory lane, the good times, the bad times. But don't blame it on me. I'm normally on time. But
you're going down memory lane.
I was going down memory lane, thinking about in my 20s and my 30s. Then my 40s, how I tried to tell Bricky last year. I mean, a couple of years ago when I turned 50, 50 is the new 30. She was like, Daddy, stop. 50 is 50. So, I tried that. So this year, 52, I just looked at her, smiled at her. She was like, Cousin Jason got you working on your birthday? I said, yeah, you got me working on my birthday.
Hey, I worked on my birthday. What you talking about?
You did half a show.
That's what you gonna do. You out of here too. You get the same deal I get, buddy. So
what? Birthday, it wasn't a foot of snow outside.
It was not. It is a lot of snow here in the Chicago metropolitan area. Everyone, they finally got all the snow up, but it snowed all weekend. So it was the first big snowfall of the year. And, you have to remind everybody how to drive in the snow.
Oh, my goodness.
Just keep their butts home in the snow and all that good stuff. But, yeah, we got through it. And, Chicago's a tough city. A little bit of snow, we're all right. Just move it out the way and keep it moving, baby.
I know. I've been shoveling for 2 days. You would think my family, one of my brothers or somebody would have came over and helped me shovel my snow. But they didn't come over. Man, Jay, I have a big snowblower, right?
Yeah.
But the bad part about it is I haven't fixed it in 6 years. So I've been shoveling for 6 years. And your cousin keep looking at me like, where you going to go? Yesterday, she was like, where you going to go get the snowblower fixed? I mean, I keep telling you this every year.
Hey, man, listen to your wife, man. That's hard. That was heart attack snow. That was that heavy stuff, man. You out there shoveling. I would pause on that, man.
Hey, Jay, some of us, some of us in great shape, though.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't nothing, but I did listen. I did see your post on Facebook when you said that. So
that's right.
I shovel, I take a break. I shovel, I take a break.
That's why your younger cousin lives in a condo association. I ain't shoveling jack. But anyway, everybody, welcome to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with Lance C. Irvin, and we talk about all the hot topics in sports and speak to a lot of sports figures and all that good stuff. And we got a loaded show today, even though it is a shorter version, as we're celebrating Lance's birthday today. We got a great guest who's coming on at 6:30. We got a lot of topics that we're going to be going through. Oh, my goodness. We got so much stuff going through. We're doing the show in conjunction with the Chicago Crusader newspaper. Their sports editor, Joseph Phillips, usually on the show, won't be with us this week. He's at the United Center covering the Bulls and Knicks. And we got such a short show and so much stuff to cover. We wouldn't gonna have time for Joseph here. But man, what a weekend of sports! What a day in sports! And let's just go ahead and get to it. But of course, we got to start off with what is Lance wearing? I see him wearing some red. And is that the mascot head of our favorite hockey team? It is.
I'm trying to learn some hockey. I'm trying my best. But you and mine kind of killed my spirits when y'all talking about everybody hurt on the team. We have 15 goalies. I'm trying hard. I'm trying to become a Blackhawks fan.
We know you are.
I'm not going to have a side team, but listening to Maya, the Seattle Kraken should probably be my side piece. So I don't know whenever they start playing.
Yeah. Well, you'll get into it, man. You'll get into it. So we are having a few technical glitches today. So just so everybody knows. So if you see some crazy stuff popping up on the screen or we freeze for a minute, some technical glitches going on, I'm just going to blame it on the snow that was here rolling like that. All right. But, man, we got some topics to get into. And we got a poll question that we're going to discuss later on this in this first segment as well. Man, I don't even know where to start. We got so many hot topics. It was a really good weekend. Where do we want to go? Oh, I know where I want to go first because I shouldn't start this without paying homage to this man. Today is February the 1st, and of course that means it is Black History Month. Black History Month today here, February 1st, as we honor all the people throughout our communities, the history of people who've contributed to society. And so today we are honoring Carter G. Woodson. He is the founder of Black History Month. So we'd like to thank Carter G. Woodson for creating Black History Month. Did you know it actually started as Black History Week? Did you know that?
You know what? I think I read something about that last week, Jay. I was reading a book and it said it started off as Black History Week. I've been reading so many books. I was reading a book by Michael Eric Dyson. I think he mentioned that in there. He's talking about James Baldwin, some other stuff. But Carter G. Woodson Library.
Yep.
I mean, Garrett A. Morgan, people like that. Like I was just talking to Paula about that. And oftentimes I think people think we started off in slavery. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We always been inventors. We've always been great people that could do different things and stuff. So Carter G. Woodson, that's great to know, Jay.
Yeah, Carter G. Woodson started February of 1926 was the first time they did it. It was Black History Week, and then it transitioned to Black History Month. So thank you, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. And the Woodson Library in Chicago is a great library. It's one of the regional libraries in the Chicago public library system, right there on 95th and Halsted. I know I used to go there a lot when I was in high school and college. It's a really valuable resource. But Carter G., we owe him a lot of thanks. So Carter G. Woodson, Black History Month. So let's get to our first topic now that we've honored him. And let's go right to what happened Saturday night at the United Center with our Bulls taking on Portland. And this man here, Damian Lillard, decided to put up 44 and 9 assists on our Bulls. And then he had the nerve with the Bulls up by 5 with 10 seconds left in the game. We all think, oh yeah, we got it. And then all of a sudden, it was Lauri Markkanen trying to play defense on that bad Dame. And well, long story short, Dame hit a 3 at the buzzer, and Portland won, and we lost. Lance, thoughts?
You know what? Let me say this: I recruited Dame out of high school.
Really?
I saw him play. Yeah, we were one of the 4 teams when I was at SMU. We recruited Dame. And I saw Dame in the AAU tournament. He was relatively unknown, scorching the team. Like I was sitting there about to watch another team play. So you know you get there early. I always try to get there early. Unlike you was here early on the show today. I was like, who is that? Bucket after bucket after bucket. So I'm looking, Jay, Jay, first of all, it was a jump ball. First, he hit the one from the logo to bring this game within 2. So, jump ball. First of all, Jay, Zach has to win that tip. Zach LaVine has to win the tip.
Don't get me started.
No, I'm getting started. He has to win the tip. As good as an athlete as Zach is, he had to find a way to win the tip, first of all. So we lose the tip, the ball scrambling. Whose hand does the ball fall in? It's about that time. So Dame steps back. All I hear is too late. Everybody knows when a player hollers too late, that means you might as well go sit down. He shot that thing, Jay. That thing didn't hit no rim. Before he jumped out with a high hand, he stepped away from him. When he hit it, he was just like, walked on off the court, man. That's a terrible way to lose a game. Terrible. You up 2. With 0.6 seconds left on the tip. I mean,
yeah. What can we say? I mean, Bernard here is saying it for us. They gave us the business, but the Bulls did get them at home at first, and this was payback. Just a stylish way. All right. Okay. I hear you, Bernard. The Bulls did beat them in Portland, but Bernard, they won 5, man. That's right. They won 5 with 10 seconds left, man.
When the tip died, and I think who was that dove for the loose ball that thought he had it? Was it Thaddeus Young?
It might have been.
Looked like Thaddeus Young. But that's a heck of a shot, though. But that's the thing about coaching, Jay. I bet you Billy Donovan didn't even sleep. 5 minutes of sleep.
I mean, what could he say? I mean, what could he? That's one of those ones where that's not on the coach. That's an effort. That's an effort loss, man.
But you literally don't sleep. You like, are they serious? You think somebody joking? Seriously, those the games you don't sleep. You don't sleep at all. And he shot it. Ooh, and he looked so pretty when he stepped away, Jay. Like he just was like, told you, too late. Everybody in the building knows what that means. Too late.
Well, the Bulls certainly did. So, and you know what makes it hurt so much is that Lauri Markkanen had a good game. It was like his best game in a very long time. But you know, when I saw that, you know, Dame had Lauri on him, like this ain't gonna end well.
And then wonder, you like, out of everybody in the gym, whose hands the ball can land in, big time Damian Lillard. How does he get the ball out of everybody, Jay?
Hey man, you know, players find a way to get the ball, man.
And he's not scared of the moment either. Like when he
relishes it. He relishes it. He relishes the moment.
Exactly. When he got it, we all was like, when he got it, I started shaking my head. I said, well, wrong guy. Wrong guy.
Tell me about it. So, hey, remember this is an interactive show. So if you're watching us on any of our platforms, let's go through them. The SportsZone Chicago app, that's the main place we want you to watch our show. Go ahead and download that app and you'll have access to all the shows we have here on SportsZone Chicago. But if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, we appreciate that. Watch us on YouTube. Go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. And you can watch us there. You can watch us anywhere there. And also, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, if you're watching the Facebook Live watch party, I know Lance always got his watch party going on. And we got a lot of people who comment watching on that. So, yeah, just go ahead and hit us up. Make this a real interactive show. And, you know, post your comments. We'll try to get as many comments and questions up as we can today because we have a lot of topics that we're going to be going through. And just to give the viewers a heads up what we're going through. So, obviously, we're talking about what Dame did to the Bulls. We're also going to talk about Coach John Chaney passing away. We're going to talk about the Illinois defeating Iowa in a big rivalry game. The IHSA says, okay, we're going to do these sports in the wintertime. We're going to talk about a superstar who is back in Chicago, playing here in Chicago. We're looking forward to her coming back. And we also got to talk about a couple of really sad subjects as well. An incident. Oh, there go your wife. Oh, isn't that special? She's checking in on you on your birthday. That's beautiful. So we got a couple of sad incidents we got to talk about too.
You know what? Since you wishing your boo a happy birthday, I'm gonna go out and get you another Gucci purse though for your birthday.
Damn.
Hey, I take care of my boo.
I see. Go ahead, my man. I ain't mad at you. I can't wait to read this next comment from Paula. we out here buying Gucci and stuff. Oh man.
Hey,
give me no Gucci for my birthday.
Paula been with your cousin for 25 years. It'll be 25 years in August. The old ball and chain.
That's what I used to call her, boy. In the early years of your marriage, I like, hey, you ball and chain that, cuz. But I love my cousin. I just had to make sure she was right for the family. So I had to check her out them first 10 years. So, you know, she's approved now.
She's on a 10-year trial period.
She's on a 10-year trial period. So, but yeah, so happy birthday. Everybody go ahead and wish Lance happy birthday. I know people on our Twitter account were also checking us out. And you know what? I haven't mentioned it enough about our Twitter handle. If you have Twitter and you'd like to access the show there, go ahead and check us out. It's What's Up Cuz at What's Up Cuz. There you go. I made it real simple. Oh, actually, it's at what_Lance and Jason. At what_Lance and Jason. But we will be changing that. That was just the one Twitter kind of gave us, but we're going to give it something a little bit more unique. But just to let people know we are on Twitter as well. You can definitely check out the show there as well. Let's talk about
Thanks, Steve. What we talking about?
Let's talk.
Go ahead. I'll let you go.
Let's talk about the IHSA. The IHSA last week gave the okay for sports to start here in Illinois. Illinois, we are a state. We, due to the COVID pandemic, pretty much shut it down. Our Governor Pritzker shut things down out of. You know, here's the thing, Lance, and I've said it before. Every state has got different demographics. Mm-hmm. Every state's circumstances are different. So while you may be able to play in your state, or maybe you can play in certain parts of your state. It doesn't work well for everyone. So basically, Central Illinois and Southern Illinois were mad because they felt like they could play. Whereas the Chicago area, because the population is so dense and we're all kind of on top of each other, and especially in the city, a lot of facilities just didn't have the capability to really host athletic contests safely. The IHSA said, we're going to shut the whole thing down. So this thing has been going on for months and months and months. At one point, the IHSA came out and said, we're going to let basketball get started back in November. And then Governor Pritzker said, I'm the governor of this state. No, you're not. So the people were mad about that. But apparently our numbers have gone down enough here in Illinois. They feel comfortable. So they're going to kind of start something. But here's the caveat in this whole thing. There's going to be no state championship for basketball. There's going to be no state championship for football. And it's up to each particular school district on if they're going to have games. And the games are basically going to be conference only in many of the sports. You may have some crossover non-conference games, but it's going to be because there's people that's kind of within that region, but it's not going to be a lot of traveling. It's not going to be hardly any traveling. And it's going to be very limited. So me being a referee, I've been getting some of the info. I don't know what exactly they're going to do in the long run, but we'll see. So just your thoughts on the IHSA going ahead and saying we can kind of play maybe. It's up to your local school district.
Man, Jay, it's a tough situation for everybody. First and foremost, we want all the kids to be safe. But my concern is, like I told you last week or a couple of weeks ago, it was 93 NC2A college basketball games that didn't get played. And we're testing 2 to 3 times, at least at a minimum, 3 times a week. Schools are testing every day. I'm hearing some areas of the state are going to test at least once or twice a week. They're going to play other teams that test. I mean, it's tough, I think, when you're not testing. So I'm not sure if they should play. That's not up to me. They don't pay me the big bucks, but I think it's tough trying to play without testing. That's just me.
And Bernard posted a comment. He makes another good point. Here in Chicago, they're currently, debating even to get the kids back for in-school learning. So, it's kind of hard to say, okay, you all go and play sports and go to schools and practice and play games, but they're not even back in the classroom because the classrooms right now are not, up to the standards they need. And the teachers union is going at it with the mayor and the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, and they're trying to work something out. But, the teachers union is holding their line because they want their members safe. They've actually lost some members from COVID. And so they're trying to look out for their membership and saying, the teachers, many of them are in that at-risk demographic and they have not received the vaccine yet. So they're trying to get the mayor to kind of put the teachers on the list to be next in line to get vaccinated. And then the teachers will feel a lot more comfortable about going back in the classrooms. I understand the importance of sports. I really do. I really, really do. But, we've been through this now almost a year. We're at almost the 1 year mark. If it takes a few more months until we can do this and we can be perfectly sure that everyone is being safe, I'm kind of cool with that. I'm kind of cool with it. We've come this far. We can gut this out a few more months. It's going to suck for the kids, especially the seniors. I get it. Trust me, I get it. And you had a lot of people who lost their sports last year if they played the spring sport, like baseball, softball, water polo, swimming. They didn't get their spring sport. So if they lose it again 2 years in a row, I'm really going to feel for them. They're going ahead with this plan. Okay, fine. That's what the decision is. But we're going to see how long this happens because there have been a lot of suburban school districts that have tried to do in-person classes, and they did it for a week, and then the cases started going bananas, and they shut it right back down.
I mean, Jay, plus, let's talk about the cleaning a little bit, like you said. Kenny Mack, I appreciate the happy birthday shout out. But let's talk about the cleaning. We should have had Kenny Mack on the show. Kenny Mack I think he had like Brian Gumbo on the show the other day, Jay. I mean, Kenny Mack doing real big things. But anyway, let's talk about the cleaning aspect, Jay. How are they going to clean these gyms out? I know in college they're supposed to clean the gyms out after usage, after the games and stuff. So hopefully they're going to clean out the high school gyms. But why they can't push some of the stuff back into the spring or let the teachers, and my wife is a school teacher, I want my wife to come home safely. The vaccine, like you said, I mean, what's the protocol for them to get that? What steps are in play? I mean, a life, you can't get your life back now. So I just want it to be well thought out and everybody to be safe. But it was my daughter. Man, I have a tough situation trying to decide if rookie or player now. Like I said, I'm big and you should get tested, and you still could get it even though you're getting tested.
Right, right. And, you have the asymptomatic people as well. It's just a very dicey situation. And I just don't think it's worth the risk. That's been my personal opinion from the very beginning. I've never changed that stance on that. And it's why I haven't refereed a match since February of 2020. I allow people to make their own personal choices. But, I just give my opinion and my reasons.
Hey, Jason, let me ask you this. So did they say anything about making them wear masks? Are they going to be required to wear masks?
We're still trying to work through some of that stuff. It's going to be very interesting. It's a couple of things that they've got to figure out how they're going to do. They haven't even given the officials the full set of instructions yet. I do know we're supposed to wear masks, and we can use either the electronic whistle or you can use the blow whistle. But if you use the blow whistle, it's a little pouch that they made that goes over the whistle, so that as we blow the whistle, we're not putting stuff in the atmosphere. So, it's going to be very interesting. But, my whole thing is about the cleaning. You mentioned about cleaning after every game, but they got to clean after every practice. And, I'm just being real with you, and me being in public schools as much as I was, they wasn't keeping the gyms clean when it wasn't COVID. I ain't lying. Them gyms was dirty then. So, I don't know how they're going to clean to the standards that they need to clean to make sure everyone is safe. If the gyms ain't clean.
Man, you have to have it for
so, there's still no. You got to have the facilities right. We haven't heard anything yet from CPS in terms of announcement on sports because they're too busy trying to get the in-class learning thing going. So we'll just kind of have to see where this goes. And we're going to talk about some stuff with our first guest. He's coming up at 6:30. I'm going to be interviewing a former NBA player. He played at Boston, and he's a Iowa alum, AC Earl. AC Earl is going to join me, and he and I are going to talk. He got a new book that is coming out, so AC and I are going to talk at 6:30. But before we get to our first break, we got to talk about what happened over the weekend. Maya's having technical issues. I wonder if this is why. Illinois defeated Iowa over the weekend. Maya's Iowa Hawkeyes go down to the Illini.
I'm not gonna rub it in. I'm
what?
Not gonna leave Maya alone.
Oh, man, you gotta rub it in. She can't even jump in and interrupt us this week.
That man, this all I'm gonna say, Jay. Well, I'm gonna say a couple of things about that. That man, Io Sumo had some heck of a high school coaches, didn't he? Though that man had some great coaches, didn't he? That man had some good coaches. Adam Miller, they had some good coaches.
As you see on the screen, Maya has inserted herself into the show in other ways, and she's using text. But
Maya, let me say this though. That Big Ten is unforgiving. That's the best league in college basketball. Anytime you can have like 9 to 10 teams that might go to the postseason. But with that being said, though, Jay, it's set up that way because every time they play, it's a tier 1 or tier 2 win for them. So thus, everyone in their league is going to be like in the top part of the top teams that they look for to go to the NC2A tournament. But it's a great league, though. Anytime you have Rutgers that's been struggling like they've been struggling, and they're a very good ball team, you have Illinois, you have Iowa.
Northwestern's pulled a couple upsets.
Northwestern won early. Michigan State done lost 4 in a row. Michigan with our guy Juwan Howard is rolling. I mean, it's the best conference in college basketball, I think. But that was tough. I were pretty good. Now, Maya, I'm gonna give you some credit. That man Luke Garza now, tough to guard. Tough.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit. Sure. So after the game, and I posted this on my Facebook page too. Let's not forget about this. Lord. I had said, I thought Iowa was going to win the game. I really did. They didn't. But here's the truth. Iowa's coach get on my damn nerve, man. That man complained about everything. And he's always been like that.
You know
his big beef. Go ahead. So his big beef was after the game in his little press conference. He was sitting there acting like a 2-year-old. I don't know what I got to do to get Luke to the free throw line in the last 9 minutes of the game. They wouldn't let the man get to the free throw line. And then, they were asking, Coach, what did you think on that call? Should it have been a traveling on that play? Well, I can't speak about that. Maybe you need to talk to the rest, but I think you got just as good eyesight as I do. And he does this every single game. It doesn't matter if he wins by 50, if he loses by 2, the man is going to complain and cry about calls.
Look, that's Fran. That's how Fran is. He's always going to complain. That's just his thing. I'm not so much of a homer, and I will say this about Iowa. They are a very talented team, very skilled team. The problem is they're not athletic enough. So one of their Achilles heels is when they come up against a team that's athletic, that's something they have to battle through. Should they have beat Illinois? Absolutely. I've seen them play games, obviously, against schools where they did so much better. So they're just not athletic enough, and that's their issue. If they had maybe one more Luka Garza on there, guess what? They might be a different team, you know what I'm saying? But they lack that physicality part, and all you have to do is really get physical with them, and by the time they make the adjustment, the game's usually over. So either they make it soon and they can go through, but I think that's going to be an issue because when teams are athletic, and I'm not even going to stereotype, they struggle.
I think that's why they inserted Keenan Murray into the lineup to give them a little bit more athleticism. He's a good athlete. I think they're physical enough. I think their outside shooting carries them. Whereas, I thought they started off a little bit slow against U of I because, like I said, we all know Garza is going to get his on the inside. I think they do need a couple more athletes, like you said. I think they have some size.
No, that's okay, but that's not an excuse, Ben. That's real talk. You have to look at how you match up. So when you
that's a bad matchup for them.
When you have a team that happens to be quicker or faster than you, I'm sorry, guess what? That's an Achilles heel for you. And people know how to match up to you, whereas they know that Iowa's a shooting team. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to force them in the paint. You want to make them take those shots. So all you have to do is study your opponent. And because they just don't have enough athleticism on the team, that's an issue. I mean, I'll call it like it is. And that's not an excuse. That's just real talk. So maybe they need to get a bit more diverse in their recruiting. That's all I'm going to say about that.
let me I'm not touching that.
Man, that sounded kind of personal right there.
And just like that, I'm like, hey, you know when Iowa had good teams back in the day, what did that lineup look like?
Hey,
when you were talking about Roy Marble, B.J. Armstrong, AC, come on, man. Come on now. Those days are over.
Let me say this, though. Freddie has 2 million plus reasons to complain. If I'm making 2 million, whatever Fred makes, I'm complaining too. That's generational wealth.
Well, we'll see. We got to take our first commercial break. So everybody hang on. Stay with us. We're going to take our first commercial break, and then we will be right back on What's Up, Cuz.
You see me.
You hear me.
Respect me.
Respect. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others.
We don't have to agree, but I deserve to be heard. I stand my ground. Respect me.
We don't have to be friends, but I deserve your civility. I stand my ground. Respect me.
You don't have to understand my culture, but I deserve to be authentically myself. I stand my ground. Respect me.
I stand in defiance of your need to make me less in order for you to feel adequate.
I stand
aware that the America that you see and love today is a result of my free labor.
I stand.
I stand knowing that the contempt you have for me was not instigated by me, but perpetuated by the fear you have of me.
I stand.
I stand surviving your many attempts to emasculate me. Indeed, I thrive despite it.
I stand realizing that you take many things from me, but I will not allow you to take my respect.
I am a man.
I am a proud man.
I am a proud black man.
I am authentically, undisputedly, unapologetically a proud black man.
I am authentic, undisputedly, unapologetically a proud black man.
I am authentically, undisputably, unapologetically a proud black man.
Respect me.
I have done more than enough to deserve it, and still you withhold it.
The bill is past due.
You owe me.
Respect me.
Respect me.
Respect me.
Black History Month is huge. It's a way for us to reconnect with our history.
Continue to celebrate and acknowledge the immense amount of contributions that Black people have made.
Black History Month is a celebration of culture.
Another opportunity for everyone to remember that we're all human.
And to have a month that reminds people that Black history is American history.
More than just having names and numbers and dates that are in a book.
To remember how important it is to be Black.
I think that the importance of Black History Month is that if you don't know where you came from, you're not going to be prepared for where you're going.
We all stand on the shoulders of somebody else. If I stand tall, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of those who came before me.
Black history.
More than a month.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz? And we are joined by a special guest. He is the owner of this platform, let's call it, of SportsZone Chicago, and the host of Sean and Maya in the Morning. Our good buddy Sean Sierra is here. What's up, Sean?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
What's up, cousin Sean? That hat is big time. Wait till I get one.
Sox Fest, baby. They're not having this year, son of a biscuits. Tell you what, that pissed me off. Right? Because I was so fired up for Sox Fest. Because, man, you get some phenomenal deals. I got I ain't going to lie to you. I had about 7 hats for like $20 at Sox Fest. And, man, this was 2 years ago. And then, they didn't have it the last 2 years. Last year and this year. So, yeah, Sox Fest is where you got to get it, man.
Hey, Sean, the next time Mr. Sox Fest, I'm just saying, can you take me with you?
Gotcha.
Cousin over there won't. He always trying to do himself. He have different interviews. And Serena Williams, hey, cuz, can I hold the camera? No. Brandy, can I hold the camera? No. That's right, he's selfish. That's all right, though.
Hey, don't worry about it. We'll get you. We'll get credentials, so we'll be in there early before everybody, so you can shop before everybody gets there.
Cool.
Hey, man, I just wanted to come on and wish you a happy birthday, man. We talked about it earlier this morning on my show, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be. I had some stuff to do tonight, but I wanted to stop in and just say wish you a happy birthday. And man, I was telling Jay, and I tell Jay all the time, man. I was like, man, I love your show. It is we were talking about the quality of guests that we get on throughout the shows that we have throughout the platform, and I'm like, you don't got to worry about that, Jay, because you must bring some bangers. You bring some bangers. I said when Danny Manning called, like, hey, I want to be on your show. I'm like, come on, man. We're talking Rock Chalk Jayhawk, dude. That's, you know what I'm saying? He calls you. He's like, I want to be on your show. Not like have your people get in touch with my people. He's like, no, hold on, player. How you get me on your show and not have me? I want to be on your show. That's the type of stuff. I'm like, man, dude, that's awesome. And I love, Maya and I love what you guys do. We love it. And I don't know if I mentioned we love it. And it's I just think it's just a phenomenal show. So but I did want to wish you a happy birthday, and and many more to come. I know you overcome a lot, through our us talking and things like that. And just think you only have like about 55 more years to go, because at at that point, it's a good run, bro. Once you hit in the hundreds, once you get past 85, 90, it's been a good run. You know what I'm saying? Like, you live a full life, bro.
You know what, Sean? I appreciate that because I heard you and Jason this morning talking about the White Sox. I think were you two talking about the Sox this morning?
We were.
Talk to me a little bit about my Sox, though. Are we going? Thank you, Chris. Thank you, sis. That's my big sister, Chris Pruitt. I bet. Hey, Chris was a hell of a coach too. She was a hell of a player too. Volleyball player, basketball player, hell of a coach. Chris could do all that, and her daughter's playing in college too. They play in UTEP. One is at Utah State. So my two nieces, shout out. Her brother Mickey Pruitt played in the NFL. Her brother Tony could play, so she comes from a heck of a family too. Really good person.
Oh man,
about the Sox real quick though. I know we got a guest coming on. Can we win the World Series real quick?
I don't know about this year. I think the window opened, and I really hate to use the analogy of that other team up there, but I think it's going to be like it's going to be 2015, like the 2015 Cubs. Our window's open. We're going to be there, you know. And with the signing of Carlos Rodon, as long as they keep him in the bullpen or maybe like an emergency fifth starter or something, I think it's fine. Don't try and make him a regular starter, but I think that if they don't do that, and you just have Dylan Cease and Ray Lopez fight for that fifth spot. And you know, I think that we have a rotation according to, I can't remember what publication I was reading, but the White Sox they ranked the White Sox rotation as the second best in baseball behind the Yankees, and I'll take it. You know, and I think you add Carlos Rodon with his nasty slider in there. I mean, don't forget you have Aaron Bummer, you have Jace Fry, you have the kid Garrett Crochet. You have quite a, you know, and this is a young buck who's going to end up eventually be a starter like Chris Sale was. But this guy's popping three digits, you know, on a regular basis, man. And if you're not used to seeing 100 miles an hour, 101, 102 miles an hour, and I know you're a professional, but you get used to 96, 98, and all of a sudden it comes at 102. That extra 3-4 miles an hour makes a difference. And so we have a lot of good ones. Then we got a good closer. So I'm really happy with the pitching rotation and the bullpen, the middle relief, and the closer. I'm really happy with what the White Sox did. So I think the White Sox are going to contend big time in the AL Central and in the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs. And I was telling Jay earlier, I said, you know what? I said, there's going to be I said, I need Yo-Yo to get to have a good year. Cause remember he had COVID last year and he never really got right. I said, Lewis Roberts got to perform. It's going to be a second year. And he needs to take the step up and be the superstar that we all anticipate he's going to be. Eloy needs to step up again. I said, I want it to be to the point where the White Sox, none of the White Sox can win the MVP because they're all stealing votes from each other. And that's what I want. That's what I want. But man, I just wanted to say happy birthday, bro. And like I said, I love what you guys do. I don't want to take up too much of your time. All right. But I know you got a guest, but happy birthday. And here's to many, many, many more.
All right. That's Sean Sierra. Thanks, Sean, for jumping in.
No problem,
man. All right. Before I bring on this first guest, I'm going to bring up the poll question. First of all, we want to apologize for last week. The poll question, we had some technical difficulties with the website at the Chicago Crusader, so the poll question did not go up. But I promise you, it is up now. So I'll just kind of go through it real quick. The poll question, which you can visit at www.chicagocrusader.com. What did we ask last week? Here it is. Who gave the better Super Bowl halftime performance? Is it A, Janet Jackson and Nipplegate? Michael Jackson when he got a standing ovation before he even sang a note? Prince when he did Purple Rain in the rain down there in Miami? Or was it Beyonce whose show was so powerful she knocked the power out in the Superdome? So those are your choices. Go to the ChicagoCrusader.com. You can vote Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Prince, or Beyonce. Who gave the best Super Bowl halftime show? So, Lance, I'm getting ready to interview our first guest. You're going to dip off for a little bit, but you're going to come back on later on the show. But I'm going to go one-on-one with the big man. He might be 6'10", but I can take him one-on-one, Lance.
Before I jump off, don't fool yourself because that man was a bad That's all I'm going to say.
You know Chicago people got to talk stuff even when we know we're going to lose, but we got to talk it anyway. So my first guest, Lance, who happy birthday. He'll see us in about 25 minutes. My first guest, he is from Illinois, downstate, down there in the Peoria area, played his high school ball in Morton, played college basketball at the University of Iowa. He is a Hawkeye. He's also a coach now on the travel circuit in the AAU team. and he is an author. And I think this is book number 5, if I'm not mistaken. He'll tell me, but he's an author now. And I want to talk about the book and his career and the Iowa-Illinois game. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the big fella, AC Earl.
Thank you. So born in Peoria, but went to Moline, but played at the legendary Wharton Fieldhouse. Yes.
There you go, down there, Moline. Yeah.
Yep, down there in our Western Big Six territory with, Quincy, Rock Island, Moline, East Moline. So, yeah, great programs, great high school basketball down there.
Man, Chicago gets a lot of the credit, AC, for basketball in Illinois, but I tell people, look, man, the downstate people got some squads. You go down there in that Peoria area, you go down in East St. Louis. I mean, it's ballers all over this state, man. Talk to me a little bit about basketball down there in Central Illinois and how it's a little bit different style, if it is, compared to the Windy City.
Well, it's more of a controlled coaching game. There are a lot of great, coaches, Jerry Leggett from Quincy, Duncan Reed from Rock Island. There was a coach from Centralia who was really good. Bloomington, Danville area, East St. Louis, that had LaFonso. I mean, I remember when I went to the Nike camp, which Lance's dad, Max Sr., was the head guy. Him and Sonny ran it. I think we took 13 people from Illinois to Nike camp. So that just goes to show you that, it was supposed to be like your top 3 or 4 players from the state. We took 13 players from the state of Illinois to Nike camp, and most of them were downstate. I think there was only 4 or 5 Chicago guys.
So, you're still down there. You're still coaching now. You've gotten into the coaching realm. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing on the coaching side of the sport.
Well, I do training and camps more now. I'm with Phenom America, and I do the Phenom Iowa exposure camps. I did some camps with Nike for 3 or 4 years. I've been with YMCA for almost 20 years. And so my thing is mostly development and training and, parent consultation, AAU consultation. Just getting the players to the next level. I've had a lot of kids who's played for me. I've had since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, or went to my camps. And then I train them and get them to a great, get them in a good high school environment where they can make a travel team in junior high, play A team in junior high, go to high school, play varsity early on. And I think to date, I probably produced or helped produce 20 Division I players, maybe 60 college players. So I mean, I'm not on the level as the Irvin, but if somebody would have told me that would be my calling, I would have never guessed it. But it's well. I mean, I started with girls because I have girls. Lord, my oldest girls. I have a daughter in college right now, so. I did AAU for 12 years. And like I said, I could turn on the TV pretty much any night and look at the top 25, and I got girls playing all over the nation, all over the Midwest. Yeah.
Nice. The one thing about coaching, we like to see them, reach their full potential. And I always tell kids, even when I coach a little bit, you don't have to necessarily go to a D1 school. Some of the best universities in this country are not D1 institutions, but if you can go there and get you an education and get yourself a good footing in life, it's a really good thing. And I know you feel the same way about all your kids. It's good to see them progress.
Yeah. Interestingly, my daughter goes to a D3. She goes to Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin, and it's probably the 35th best school in the nation. And so, when she comes out, she's going to have a great opportunity to go right into the job world. And so, it's just, and I tell parents all the time, it's just whatever the fit is, whatever the fit is great for you and your family and your kid. That's what we need to do. It doesn't have to be the end all Division I. And I think sometimes parents put too much emphasis in that.
Sure. So I'm sure you, like everybody else, you've been watching with bated breath to see what the IHSA was going to do here with the high school seasons here in Illinois. They came out last week with a ruling. There's not going to be a state tournament this year, unfortunately.
I saw that.
but there will be some conference games planned. Do you know? Can you tell us what the kind of the feel is in downstate and central Illinois in terms of the season?
Well, I'm on the Iowa side because I live in Iowa City area. You know, I got a daughter that goes to Iowa City High and a son that goes to Iowa City West, and so we've been playing pretty much. You know, that we've had a couple outbreaks where we had to pause, but the Iowa side has been playing. And the Illinois side is very frustrated because they didn't play and then they started playing. Now they're not going to do a state championship. So it's really put a lot of emphasis on a lot of the players on the Mississippi border coming over to transfer over to the Iowa side. And we saw that with football in the fall. So, you know, it's a lot of parents are really up in arms about that. You know, I hope in some reason that we find some solution that they can have some type of abbreviated state championship or, you know, something to give the kids something to look back and not just play games and then end it. So I would think they're going to do something. I think this is just so unprecedented. We don't know what is even out there to do.
Right. And I do know a lot. We have heard a lot of players transferring to Wisconsin to play. They've been transferring into Indiana schools. And and I know they've been transferring into Iowa too. And I know Iowa never really shut down. I remember doing a story this spring how baseball and softball were going, and they had a full tournament over there in Iowa. Even though I know Iowa, the biggest sport is wrestling. So I want to know, are they doing wrestling this year, AC?
Yes, they are doing wrestling, and it's not the biggest sport. It's not the biggest sport.
Man, they crazy about wrestling.
You know, the Dan Gable. They are, because you know with the Dan Gable effect, really, it did a lot, and they probably have. It's probably one of the states with the youngest wrestling program. I mean, they're second and third kindergarten wrestling. But you know, football went for most of the schools had football. Basketball is going for a lot of the schools. They're leaving it up to the districts to do it how you want to do it. So the state is not mandating it. So you have some districts that's been full ahead, and you have some districts that takes pauses and things of that nature. So that is one good thing about Iowa is the kids are getting their sports in. It just depends on what district you're in. Got you.
So AC, obviously the big rivalry game was this past weekend. Your alma mater came up a little bit short. What did you think? What did you think of the game?
You know, I saw parts of it. I didn't get to see the whole game. You know, Illinois is so talented. I really like Illinois. I think I put them early in the same category as Baylor. Early, they kind of had a little falter, but I think they're coming back now. I mean, I think Iowa and Illinois are the two premier teams of the Big Ten. I think they're Elite Eight teams for sure. I think with a little luck and a nice draw, they're Final Four teams. And you would expect Illinois to beat them on their home floor, just like if Iowa would play them. I think Iowa would beat them at their home floor. But they're very similar. They're deep. They're talented. They got multiple guys that can make plays. Kofi inside is big. Garza's inside is big. Iowa's got 3-point shooting with Wiesenkamp and Bohannon. I can never pronounce that guy's name. What's that guy's the guard for Illinois?
Io. We just call him Io.
Right. But I love him, man. I love him. He's a bucket getter. He rises to the challenge. I love watching him play. And it's fun to see Illinois back. You know, I did an interview early on this year. It's fun to see Illinois back because of what you talked about early on with the history of Illinois high school basketball. It's almost sad and a shame that the Illinois schools don't do better with all the talent, like the DePauls and the Bradleys and the and the Illinois and all those schools that with Loyola, all those schools should be doing well. And it's fun when they do well because it's a reflection of the talent in Illinois.
I agree. Do you think the Big Ten Conference this year is the best conference in all of basketball?
Hands down. I mean, I saw a little bit something yesterday. I think they predicted 12 teams to go, possibly 14 if Northwestern can kind of get off the schneid a little bit. I think Northwestern would be a good draw. And I would put Northwestern in over a team like maybe a Kentucky or a Duke because they're playing their game. See, so that's what I would do if I was the committee, and I think the committee might do it because they want the Midwest draw. You know, they want those teams that are going to play in Indianapolis, and Northwestern would have a nice following. You know, depending on how many fans they let go. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about your pro career. Drafted by the Boston Celtics. Played in the league about 4 years. What was that experience like for you? And I know after you got out of the league, you played a little bit overseas as well.
Yeah, it was great. I was fortunate to go with the Celtics, you know, storied program, a program that had history, lots of great professional. It taught me how to be a pro. It taught me how to take the game serious. Unfortunately, we weren't that good at the time. We had missed the playoffs, you know, for like the first time in maybe 15 years. So, you know, it was great. And then I went to Toronto in the expansion draft 2 years later. That was another great experience because we were the first inaugural team. So I got to play with Damon Stoudemire, Marcus Camby, and a lot of guys. And it was just great to just be the torchbearer of basketball in Toronto. And so that was great playing there at the Sky Dome. You know, and in a lot of senses, I think we set the path. You know, we set the footsteps for the Vince Carters and the Tracy McGrady's and Chris Bosses to come later.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I got traded to Milwaukee, and it was fun to play. I got to play with Vin Baker, who was in my draft class. I got to play with a young Ray Allen, who was a rookie. I got to see him up close, and was reunited with my with my Big Ten foe, Big Dog, Glenn Robinson.
Oh, yeah, from Purdue.
Yeah, so that was fun playing with him. We used to talk about all the Big Ten matchups and things of that nature. So, you know, played in the NBA 4 years and then went overseas for 8, played in 12 countries, won 3 championships, 3 MVPs in 8 years. You know, great to play. You know, I played with a lot of great young players, Hidou Turkoglu, Mehmet Okur, Yao Ming, you know, Chen Xing, like just all the guys that kind of set the path for what we see now. And I was able to get in touch with that basketball early on.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me take a step to how I was going to coach, because I did more development and we played a more wide open passing 5 out. Everybody can dribble, everybody can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught players early on to space the floor, everybody shoot the 3, everybody handle it. And that's what you see now with the European players, with Jokic, with Doncic, with, you know, all these players that come over. They all can handle, they all can shoot. They all have great work ethic. And that's what I taught my players and taught my kids. You know, you have to be positionless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once again, being joined by AC Earl, former NBA player, Iowa Hawkeye alum, and current author. But before we get to the book, I want to follow up on that. The big man's role in the NBA, well, even all throughout basketball, it really has changed.
100%.
Do you think there's going to be a time, though, because basketball is constantly evolving, where we're going to start seeing more of that big man traditional post-up game taking effect in the sport?
Well, I mean, I think you always got to play to your strengths. I mean, I think Kofi does that to a certain extent, but he can also do some other things. And same with Garza. You know, he eats in the paint type of guy, but he could shoot the 3. He could step back. He could put it on the floor. So I just think that the game now has gone to the point where you have to work on all your skills and not be pigeonholed. So I don't think we're going to get back to the lumbering center that can only score inside and just rebound and take up 5 fouls. I don't think we're going to see that center again. But I think we're going to see like the hybrids where you see the Porzingis and you see the Anthony Davis and you see the Joker and you see the Nurkic and you see Boogie Cousins and you see, you know, all these guys of what they can do. I think the last of those guys who we're seeing is like a Dwight Howard. You know, he's probably one of the last of the big time centers, you know.
When you were playing, who were some of the guys who you always look forward to playing against?
Well, that's a trick question. And I tell you the reason why. So when I played in arguably the best center era ever. Okay, so that's Patrick Ewing, that's Akeem Olajuwon, that's David Robinson, that's Ronnie Cycli, that's Felton Spencer, that's Duckworth, that's Rick Smith, that's, you know, all these guys, right? So I didn't really like to play, and a young Shaq, young Shaq, okay, young Lonzo Mourning, okay. So I mean, that's 15 guys right there. So like when I had like a Luke Longley or Felton Spencer, or I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I'm not gonna foul, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna be ready to play because I could get my game off against these guys. You know, then you throw in like Sean Bradley, 7'7", you throw in George Mirasan, so, you know, Chris Webb with C. Webb and Jawan were there, Rasheed was there. So I mean, that it was just, you look over one shoulder, it was one 7-footer. You look over another shoulder, it's another 7-footer. So, you know, that wasn't a fun time all the time to play against those guys, you know, but I had some good games against Patrick and Rick and some of those guys because I had studied them so much and I knew what they did. And so I'm not going to say they're easy to defend and they're easy to score on. That would be an understatement for sure. But, you know, 100%, those guys were the cream of the crop. I mean, half those guys on the list are Hall of Famers.
Yep, without a doubt, without a doubt. AC, I gotta take a quick commercial break. Can you stay with me? Right after the break,
yes, sir.
We're gonna get into AC's books. Stay with us on What's Up, Cuz. We'll be right back. Uh-oh. Had a little technical glitch. Had a little technical glitch there. Stay with us, AC. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We will, I know we're doing a commercial here. Okay, maybe we're not doing a commercial. All right, we're just going to talk about the book, AC. We'll come, if we go to commercial, we'll go to commercial. Let's talk about your career as an author. How did you get into writing? And tell me about the latest book that you have that just came out.
Okay. So, yeah. So how I kind of started was this book here, which is, let me see if I can get it on. Here it is. How to Play Overseas, 31 Rules. And so, yeah, I'm just going to put it on camera real quick for everybody to see.
Oh, there we go. We got it. There you go. Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So, you know, before I would go overseas every time, before I would go overseas, I would have 10 or 20 rules, a little checklist that I would do. And it would make sure that I had everything ready to go overseas with banking, talk to my agent, you know, the apartment, the contract, just everything that I needed to do. And it turned out that these rules, I was always talking to the younger players or talking to other overseas players, Americans, about these rules. And I never forget, somebody said, you should write a book on this. And I turned the 10 into 31. And the rest is history. So once I knocked that out, I did like a basketball book, right, for kids. And then I did another basketball book for like terminology. Yep, basketball's main ingredients, which is all terminology. Like for kids, like because a lot of coaches and parents and kids, they don't know what terminology is, like what wing and baseline and elbow and defensive transition. And so I wrote that. And then I just was like, okay, I'm going to keep on. I'm going to keep on. I'm going to keep on. And it actually became very therapeutic for me. Yep. And then I did how to create a college athlete, because I was pumping out, all these kids were going to college. And the parents were like, you should write a book for us, because we don't know what we're doing. And so put it all into language. And so I did how to create a college athlete book, And so as I'm putting in all this together, I also had read a long time ago the book $40 Million Slave. And it depicts the role the Black athlete has played in America as far as collegiate and pro sports, and how we're perceived, and what sports are better for us and what sports are not, what sports we've been included. So I started kind of putting stuff together, and this is 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then when the COVID hit, there was nothing to do, right? You couldn't work out. I couldn't train for like 2 months. And so I just basically wrote every day. And I just wrote that book and put that book together. And so, we just dropped that on Amazon. I don't know if you guys could even, that's the first one. Did you find the Slavery in Sports on Amazon?
I think we did get it. Let's see here.
Yeah, we just got it up and live Sunday, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is that new?
Wow. Yeah. So we just got it out, so you can order it. It's on Amazon. And that book is probably my greatest work. And I did a lot of research. I had a lot of people help me on it. And it just basically, it goes, we talk about college, we talk about pro, we talk about the Negro Leagues, we talk about the COVID, how that, the pandemic, we talk about the Black Lives Matter. We talk about rules, we talk about the interpretation, we talk about how contracts and salary cap have played a role. We talk about high school sports and AAU and the entitlement of players and where players are getting it from. We talk about, there's one great example in there. People were like, okay, how can D Wade's son and LeBron's son and Scottie Pippen's son and Kenyon Martin's son all go to one high school? And I said, they just mimic what their fathers did. I said, D Wade and LeBron, they all got together and that's what they do. And it's funny, and my son did the same thing. Him and his buddies all got together and they're all going to transfer. They transferred over to another school where nobody think they were going to go. So it's interesting, the role of the Black athlete and the role of athletics in general in what we've seen today and what we're seeing. And that's what the book is about. And so, like I said, it's probably one of my greatest works. And I've already gotten so much feedback on it, positive feedback and speaking engagements, and people are ordering it. And it's like I said, it's been 8 years, 7, 8, 9 years in the works. And it changes so much because you add so much stuff in there, like the Black Lives Movement, and the COVID pandemic, the effect of what, who was the first sport to go back and play go back and play professionally. One of the first ones was, the NBA, and why the bubble worked for them, and it's basically ties to the AAU circuit, where that's what we do anyway. We go stay in a hotel for a long time and play AAU, and everybody kind of hangs out. And I said, basically, it's just a big AAU tournament, but everybody's making money now.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's funny because when we did a lot with the Chicago Sky over the summer, and talked a lot about the bubble experience. And when we had the players on the show, AC, they all said, it took me back to my days as a kid when I was playing AAU, and I was just there with my teammates and my coaches, and we would go out and ride bicycles when we weren't having games. And they say it took them back to when they were like a kid again. Right.
And it's funny how those two leagues embraced it, and we saw some other leagues would not embrace it because they didn't, football and Major League Baseball, they don't have the AAU platform. So they wouldn't know how to, they wouldn't know how to act, if you locked them up in a hotel. Like we've been doing that since we're 14, 15, 16, And the young kids of today, those kids been doing it since, like my kids, they've been doing it since 8, 9, 10. So it's just interesting. It's just a perspective on it. And and we go back from, we go back in history, and we detail some things of the Civil War, and we did some things with Revolutionary War, and we talk about conferences, we talk about conference misalignment, alignment, realignment. there's so many aspects of it. And, you know, we talk about the Negro League, we talk about the Harlem Globetrotters, the Harlem Wrens, you know, Abe Saperstein, Red Auerbach, you know, people who played instrumental roles in coaching, you know, African Americans. And, you know, we talk about boxing, you know, track and field, two of the most influential African American sports before, you know, the pros. And then we talk about the minor league baseball, the Negro leagues of how, you know, Hank Aaron and Jackie Robinson and all those guys, and how they came in and changed baseball.
Yeah, without a doubt. So before we let you get out of here, because I know you're big in girls basketball. What are your thoughts today on the big news here in Chicago that Candace Parker has signed a 2-year deal to come back here and play for the Chicago Sky? What are your thoughts on that?
A big Candace fan. She actually played for my uncle's AAU program in Lyle, Naperville, Shooting Stars. So my brothers and them trained her very young. So they used to talk about this girl, Candace Parker, who could dunk on dudes. So I knew Candace, you know, a lot, followed her in Tennessee. I took my daughters to the Final Four, and we went to go see her play. Fabulous person, fabulous player. Great budding TV career. She did great on TNT. I loved when she was on TNT, and I love when she was in the tournament doing some tournament stuff a couple of years back. So I think that's a great move for her. You know, she's kind of an LA gal now, but I think going back to Chicago, I think that's going to be huge for even Chicago kids, Chicago girls, to see Candace Parker back, you know, to come to watch, to be able to see her. And I bet you hundreds of AAU teams are going to take their, you know, girls to see. And we did that too, you know, like we took girls up to the what's the team again?
The Sky.
Sky, yep. We took teams up there to the Sky to watch the girls, but we took them up to see Maya Moore one time play. That was good, and so I'm 100% on board with that. I might even order a Candace Parker jersey.
There you go, man. I'm sure they got it in your size, man. We'll call and make some phone calls for you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot so much, man, for joining us, and give me the name of the book again so that everybody can go out and buy it off of Amazon. Yes, Slavery in Sports. I'm going to try to, there's not too many things, but you can kind of get it, Slavery in Sports. But yeah, it's on Amazon, and it's, we just dropped it on Sunday, so it's available for order. I got the email. Go get it. You know, if you order off my website, you get an autographed copy. And I also have one thing to plug on my website. We're actually doing brackets. You would do this too. I want to see if you and the Irvins can do this. So on my website, on my Venom Sports website, Venom Sports Training website, I have a 64 NBA player bracket that you can pick the best NBA player of all time. So I have all the seedings. So I did the first 4 seedings, and all my friends and family did the rest. So my first 4 seedings are Kobe, LeBron, Kareem, and Michael Jordan. That's a pretty strong 4. Right. And so if you look through the bracket, if you go to my website, like I said, venomsportstraining.com, you can go to see the bracket. You can download the bracket, send it in, and I'll go over it on my podcast that I do on Fridays. And I also send you 2 autographed pictures of me, an NBA picture and a college picture. And so, yeah, there's great matchups. You know, one of the great matchups here is Charles Barkley is a 8. Charles Barkley's a 6, and Iceman's a 12. Who do you got on that? Oh, that's a good one. Mr. Finger Roll himself, the Iceman, or the round mound or rebound. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. I'm going to go with Barkley on that one, but I can understand the argument there. Right. That's a good battle right there. That's a good battle. And here's a good one. Here's another good one before we get out. I got Reggie Miller as a 8 and Bernard King as a 9. On that one, I'm going to go with Bernard. He was putting up 50 points for the Knicks. Okay. That's another battle. But I'm going to go with Bernard there. Okay. And, all right. Well, Mr. Palmer, I hope you can download a bracket, send it in. I'll send you some pictures for your studio, autographed pictures. So
So go to my website, download a bracket, send it in, and you'll look at them. There it is, Slavery in Sports. You got it. So that's the latest book. Yeah.
There you go, everybody. So go ahead and download that bracket. Pick up AC's book, Slavery in Sports. It's on Amazon now. I'm sure it's a great read. And my boy G, who I think was your college roommate in Iowa, he played baseball, said to tell you what's up.
Who? Michael Spinks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, your Galesburg guy.
There you go. AC, thank you so much for joining us, man. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. That was AC Earl, everybody, joining us from Iowa City, Iowa, and we had a lot to discuss here. We got a commercial coming up here. We're having some technical difficulties today, folks, and we kind of said that. I'm not sure if we can go to a commercial. Maya will let me know. If we can go to commercial, we'll go to commercial. If not, the sponsors are going to be mad, and we'll just bring Lance back on for his birthday. So here we go. We'll see if we're
Hello, this is State Representative Juanita Brent of Ohio House District 12. Here with an important announcement. February is Black History Month. Black History Month recognizes the contributions that African Americans have made throughout U.S. history. As we recognize the achievements of African Americans this month, we must also take time to appreciate and celebrate that Black History Month is American history. Did you know that the first Black History Month was celebrated 51 years ago in 1970. The 2021 Black History Month theme is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. It's important that we bring awareness to and celebrate the complex, rich, and diverse history of the Black family in the United States. To celebrate and learn more about Black History Month, you can visit AfricanAmericanHistoryMonth.gov. Thank you.
Compassion, noun. Sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. We're all born with it. It's in us. Don't believe me? When you hear a baby cry, something pulls at you. You want to ease that pain. You want to soothe that hurt. No one had to teach you that. It's called compassion, and it's in you. However, at some point you turned it off when it came to me. Me.
The cries of my soul have gone unheard, but today, you will hear me.
My heart has wailed a melody loud enough to shatter your ears, and you ignored me. But this week, you will hear me.
This body has beat the drums of anguish, only to be silenced. But this month, you will hear me.
This year,
this decade,
this century,
I will be heard. And
you will be the one to hear me.
And when I am finally heard,
show compassion.
Show compassion.
Show compassion.
Remember, it's in you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to What's Up Cuz on the Lance C. Irvin birthday celebration show. Huh? Were you out eating cake during your break, man?
Oh no! You know what? I was thinking. I was returning some birthday wishes, and I was listening to you a little bit. You almost in the level. You almost in the league with Kenny Mack when it comes to doing interviews now. Almost as good as Kenny Mack.
Oh wow! Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
You know what? It's kind of like Kenny Mack, Clyde Travis, then you. I'm putting you in with some good names though.
Well, those are kind of like my mentors, so I'm fine with that. I told you before how much Kenny and Clyde taught me, so I'm cool with that.
See, I put you with some great guys. See, I'm giving you a compliment.
You did. I mean, as long as you ain't say I was on the level of Gayle King, we are. Can't stand
You've been on fire all day today.
I know. I've been firing off on people. I have.
And I have to say this. Your Facebook post about the people that stormed the Capitol. Oh my goodness. Hey, everybody, if you watching the show, go to JJAPA on Facebook. Read his post about the people that stormed the Capitol when they get caught. Unbelievable. Great writing, cuz I got to give you credit.
I mean, it's just one of those things that I think when that happened, every journalist in the country, first of all, we were all stunned at what the hell was going on. Then we were like, oh, yeah, we're going to get these idiots. These morons put all this stuff on social media. Oh, we're going to find all of these fools. It was like every journalist in the country just went, all right, here we go. Let's get to work. It was the first time I was ever really able to cooperate with the FBI and felt good about myself. So, yeah, them knuckleheads. And it's more coming. And the real serious charges are yet to come. Wait till you find out who all was really involved in this. I'm telling everybody, stand by. Stand by the next few weeks. You're going to see some names pop up like, oh, they got him.
Jay, in the next few weeks, because you've been spot on lately with most of your writings and stuff.
Well, here's the thing. They weren't going to arrest everybody, especially the main players, as long as the former president was still the president. Because, that fool was issuing pardons to everybody. So, that was the thing they had to be real careful about. So now that he's no longer there, now you can go get the real players. They got the little foot soldiers who was stupid enough to, do it and record themselves and post it on their own social media page. That was the easy ones. Now we go get the real hard ones. So,
my goodness.
But hey, we got a couple of serious issues we got to talk about here before we go today. And we're going to end the show a little early because it's Lance's birthday and we want him to eat his cake. But, we cover everything that goes on in sports and not everything is pretty, unfortunately. And, sports reflects life and, we got problems in real world. So we got problem in the sports world. So we got to talk about this Chad Wheeler situation. And it is a rather graphic picture. I was going to give you a little warning, but that's all right. Mike beat me to it. Chad Wheeler has been, arrested for doing what the picture shows to his girlfriend. That's his girlfriend. I believe you pronounce her name Aaliyah, if I'm not mistaken. There was a situation that occurred at a residence. I believe they share the same residence. And Chad Wheeler is accused of some pretty hellacious stuff, y'all. He is accused of when his girlfriend would not bow to him in the house. I don't know what that's all about. He apparently went off and was trying to kill her. Caused some serious injuries to her. You see the injuries there that happened to her face, but I think she had some injuries to her arm. She was knocked unconscious and left in a bathroom. And then she regained consciousness and he went back to her and allegedly said, oh, you still alive, huh? Mm-hmm. She was able to call either the police or a friend, or the friend called the police while she was in the bathroom. The police got there. They had to knock the door down to get into the residence. They heard the screaming and all the stuff going on. They get inside the residence. They track the noise to a bathroom. They get in the bathroom and see this guy who's like 6'7", 280 standing over this woman. And I don't know if he was still hitting her at the time or he was restraining her, but the police were able to get him and take him into custody. Now, what's come out since then is that he's bipolar. He was off his medicine, blah, 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 blah. Here's my thought on that. Being a person who was a male mentor for domestic violence victims some years back. I can tell you this wasn't the first incident. It rarely is the very first incident when it's this aggressive, and she might chime in on this too, but it's very rare that this was the first time something like this happened. This may have been one of the worst times, and people found out about it, and more of that is going to come out here in the future. But the domestic violence cases, we take those very seriously. This brought back reminiscences of Ray Rice, and it hasn't been talked about in the mainstream media. And I think that's where Maya and I are going to go with this. You know what? I'm just going to let Maya talk about that part.
Well, that's the part to me that I find very distressing. When I was kind of just going through news feeds today in some of my free time, wow, I was like, Harry and Meghan have resurfaced. They're all over the feeds. But wait a minute. Where's this story about Chad Wheeler, a white male, assaulting his black girlfriend? I mean, I was just looking around, and the story is almost non-existent, which I found, again, this is that example in this country, how things are handled. If a black athlete does anything wrong, guess what? Got a DUI. The story is like trending. But this was a very egregious thing. And you are absolutely right, Jason. I guarantee you, one, this is not his first rodeo in being aggressive towards a woman. Two, don't think for any minute because he's got mental illness. There are people that are bipolar that are never this aggressive. So hence, that doesn't get to be the cop-out of why he behaved the way that he did. Not acceptable. And in fact, I'm going to be like, wow, bipolar, what else was going on with him? So, you think about Brandon Marshall, who was often just raked over the coals. And eventually, I think people became a bit more understanding when his mental illness came out, but he addressed it and he talked about it. But I think it's interesting. And it's not that, by the way, I'm saying, let's demonize Chad Wheeler because he's white. That's not my point. It's this story should be top of mind in front of the news because remember, the NFL was taking a hard stance about domestic violence.
Yes, because of Ray Rice.
So if we were mortified by what you saw with Ray Rice do, how in God's name does this not equally end up in the media?
Maya, I do agree with everything you said. Let's pray for the young lady. But, I mean, putting your hands on a young lady like that, it took 3 police officers to finally get him to stop or whatever they had to do to stop him. And putting your hands on a female like that, that's not cool. But like you said, Maya, more people should be talking about it. I know Stephen A. Smith talked about it on Friday. With that being said, you're more in this field than I am, Maya. But when does bipolar mean you get to almost kill somebody and say, "Oh man, you still living"?
That's
the part that got me.
That's the part that bothers me, and that's why I want to speak for people who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Please don't shine this light on them that, first of all, it doesn't mean that a person who has mental illness is going to be aggressive. You could have schizophrenia, and it does not mean you're an aggressive person. So let's first, because you often hear when people do things and there's mental illness, they always lean heavily on that. Every person who's diagnosed with a mental health diagnosis does not always be aggression. So what I would be curious to find out in this is, one, is he bipolar 1? Is he 2? Is he bipolar with psychotic features? There's a wealth of diagnosis besides just bipolar, because the way he was behaving and talking, it made me feel like there was some form of psychosis wrapped into this. And or was he impaired by some type of drugs? I don't know, because his behavior isn't like this typical behavior that you would necessarily see, just because somebody is bipolar. So I'm really curious to know what else is there on the table, because you can be bipolar off your meds. Guess what? I talk to these kind of people every day. Seriously. They may have a manic episode, but they're not necessarily trying to kill somebody. So I really want to know the level of his mental illness, and is he just bipolar? I mean, there's a lot to this, but we won't know. And I guarantee you, though, we will know, because if it's really a mental health issue, then they're going to want to let people know that this was the cause or the root of the issue with him.
Yeah, it's a really egregious case to see the photos of this young woman. But I also think we have to be honest and transparent about this stuff. And it's an issue. It's an issue in sports. Domestic violence is an issue in every segment of society. CEOs are doing it. It transcends race. It transcends religion. And it's just another form of sexism in a very aggressive, illegal immoral way. And we have to knock this shit off in society. Look, I was raised by a single mother. I have a whole bunch of female cousins and aunts who were big influences in my life, and I'm married. And I told my wife's cousins before we got married, her male cousins, who I'm cool with, they from the West Side, if your cousin ever say I put my hands on her, y'all need to come whoop my ass. That was the deal I made with them. Like, if she ever tells you I did something to her, y'all need to come get me because there's something wrong with my ass. So, that's kind of the approach I take with it. I don't play around with this stuff. And what he did to that woman, I just can't even imagine, what she's been going through up until this point. And, some people are saying, Lance, that, well, she was defending him. Well, a lot of times the victims will defend their abuser. That's not uncommon. It's not uncommon that they'll go back to their abuser. They say it takes like 7-8 times usually before they'll leave them completely. So, I just think the public needs to be more educated on domestic violence. I am happy to see, Lance, that the NFL acted swiftly.
Oh, they had to. They absolutely had to. There was no way they could even remotely take a back seat in this because of how they've been battling with this for the last several years and their commitment to this. And I'm gonna say this because I do work in the mental health field. I don't know Chad Wheeler, and you're right. A lot of times victims do defend, obviously, the person who is the perpetrator of violence. I am always willing to give somebody the benefit of the doubt only for this reason, because for what it was worth, Ray Rice, allegedly, according to his fiance, who then became his wife, there was no history, according to what she said, is aggression. And that's part of what Robert Goodall said. He went on his character that this was an incident that got out of control. And they tried to handle it one way, but the court of public opinion wasn't going to let that sit where it is. So before I sit here and I rake him over the coals, because clearly there's something here, I don't know the man. But what I don't like is how it's, to me, being pushed to the background. But anytime you get an athlete of color that does anything, it can be a speeding ticket. It's front and center. And I think we talk about how there's a disparity in how things are handled with people of color versus white people in this country. We see it all the time. You saw the incident where they talked about the girl who went into Nancy Pelosi's office, stole her laptop, and was trying to sell it to the Russians, and got released to her mother. But they're saying there's this young black kid who allegedly stole a book bag and is sitting in Rikers Island for like a number of years.
Yes.
I can't remember his name because the story, I was like, what?
Yeah, he was one of the guys in the Capitol, right?
No, he wasn't, but he's still sitting in jail. And his action happened when he was like 19 years old or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he's been in jail for a number of years. There is a disparity. And by the way, this is exactly what Colin Kaepernick took a knee about.
Yeah.
About the injustice of how black and brown people are policed and how justice is arbitrary in this country. And you're seeing it. And I mean, people probably feel like, well, I just think you're being overly. No, every time a black athlete does something, it's in the news. It doesn't matter. So how this is not being given the proper attention, it bothers me. But I'm not saying I don't know Chad Wheeler. Maybe he hasn't been aggressive. Maybe something's going on with him. COVID's going on right now. Maybe he's struggling with some stuff. He was off his meds. So I don't know. I just don't feel like it's getting the kind of attention it should get. And that bothers me.
I mean, I think we all can say he was wrong.
Oh, he was clearly wrong. There's no, yes, absolutely.
You cannot argue he was wrong. Like I said, like you said, we don't know him. I don't know him, but what he did, judging by those pictures and what the young lady was said happened to her, that's wrong. Bottom line, you can slice it however you want to. That's wrong. And that's why I'm glad you're an expert. And Jason, you talking about it. You understand what's going on. What underlying issues, like you said, maybe he was bipolar 1 or 2, like you said, Mike. I didn't know you had so many of those. I just thought it was one kind of bipolar.
No.
That's why I was happy you was on the show to explain that. Because I'm sitting here learning now. And the more we can talk about it, the more we have people like you who could tell us some stuff we don't know. It's always good, but that's a sad state of affairs. Like I said, I feel for that young lady. Putting your hands on her like that, you 6'7", 280. But I would guess you 5'9", 110 though. You shouldn't do it. That's just me and my own personal views.
Yeah, and my thing, Lance, is I'm gonna be interested to see what they charge him with. That's the other part of this thing, because here's the truth of the matter. prosecutors can kind of charge you with a litany of stuff. And, they can be lenient or they can be really aggressive. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. He's large enough that there's something called disparity of force and that she was unconscious. If they want to be real aggressive about it, you could actually almost charge him with attempted murder because he's so big. You could charge him with aggravated assault, not regular assault, because as big as he is a weapon compared to that woman. So there's a whole bunch of stuff they can actually do. And a lot of times it depends on if they get the cooperation of the victim, because they may knock this thing all the way down to some chicken crap misdemeanor and say, well, we're going to put him in counseling.
Well, and the other thing, too, is you can never discount the fact that he flat out said, you're still alive. That means I came at you with the intention to kill you.
Exactly.
That's the first thing. And, and you're right. If she's not willing to cooperate, and even though they can choose to pursue it even without her. And the question is, will they do it? Even if she doesn't cooperate, there's already enough information there. It could end up something as simple as, yes, he gets charged, but you know how that works. Remember, the swimmer from Stanford who got all this preferential treatment because, he didn't have a history and, all that other stuff. So we're going to see how this pans out. Worst case scenario, I'm not sure what state they were in. Illinois has mental health court. He could just he could get smacked with, well, he does have mental health issues, which this is why he behaved this way. Because when they build his offense, if they bring in enough people who say this is not him, this was a cause of his disease, of why he behaved this way, I guarantee you he's going to get off easy. All he's going to have to do is, and if she stands behind it and says, this was not him, I don't know what happened, guess what's going to happen? A whole lot of nothing.
I agree. And that's it. So we also got another thing to talk about. We have a link here. Maya's going to put it up. She'll go off for a minute and grab this link that we have in our private chat. Maya, we had another incident that took place that Lance and I need to talk about in Gary, Indiana. It happened Friday night, I want to say. And Lance, maybe you can give us a little bit of the background on it, and then I can kind of chime in with the information that I have on it.
From what I understand, because it happened Friday night where this young man, I think it was Lighthouse High School, playing on the road. And there was a couple calls that didn't go the way the coach thought it should have went. And I guess coach got tired of it, which, we all know when you're in the heat of the game, emotions can take over. But I guess he got tired of the ref making those type calls. And I understand in the fourth quarter, coach had enough. So coach said something, him and the ref, they had exchanged some words. And the young man throws a chair on the on the court. And he gets ejected. Then I heard, Jay, I don't know if this is true or not, but after the game, I think the assistant coach threw a chair across the court also. So, it's a tough situation, but, we have to be better than that, don't we? I understand I've been in those games where you think you're getting a bad whistle and you getting heated and you emotional, but you can't do those type things.
Yeah. It was in Gary, Indiana, Lighthouse Charter School. And the really bad part is that the coach of Lighthouse, Coach Moore, the team they were playing against was his old high school.
And the court named after his grandfather.
And the court is named after his stepfather, actually. And the court is named after his stepfather. It's a school he went to, and he was a part of their 2010 state championship team. So this will be like you going back to Percy Julian High School, coaching, and you get upset with the referees and everything else, and you just start throwing weapons onto the court. What are you doing? And he's throwing them at the refs, and he tried to throw a second chair, and one of his assistants grabbed the chair, so he couldn't do it. But he also hurled a basketball on the court and used a whole bunch of profane language as well. So just a really sad situation of sportsmanship that we saw. And I don't even know where to go with that. And I don't know this guy. I don't know if this guy was bipolar too.
I just think you work so hard to build your career. You work so hard, to build your character stuff. And a bad decision and a bad moment can kind of kill that a little bit too. I understand it, like I said, Jay, and you referee, and all refs is not perfect. So we understand there's going to be some calls made. But throwing a chair, like you said, that's a weapon. Like, you can't do that. I mean, come on now. I want to win just as bad as anybody. But and then later I read that he said he lost his mind, lost his cool, and he wished that hadn't happened to him. But
Yeah,
it's a
no,
bad
it's
situation,
like
and the
no
kids saw
kidding,
that.
dude.
Yeah, and the kids saw that too. So that's the last thing you want kids to think that's acceptable to do that kind of thing, to do the thing that he did. So I feel for him.
Yeah, it was rough, man. You know, we unfortunately we can't play the clip for it. We don't have it, but you can go on. It's out there. It's out there, and it's pretty scary. He was throwing the chair at the referee, but it actually almost hit one of his own players.
Man.
You know, had he hit that kid with that chair, you know, I don't know what to say. But, you know, fortunately, no one was injured. The Indiana High School Athletic Association is currently investigating the incident. I was actually contacted by a reporter in Indianapolis today. They wanted to interview me to ask me kind of about the incident. They wanted to know, you know, since I'm a journalist and a referee, you know, they want to get my perspective on it. So I may be on the news in Indianapolis tonight. I think, I'm not sure. But, you know, it's just when these incidents happen, it's just, you know, you hurting the kids, man. You're hurting the kids, and you're showing these kids that if things don't go my way or I get frustrated, I get to do whatever I want. And we got too many of our young men and women in jail right now because they lost their composure over something silly. And, you know, society is going to be real with you. They're going to treat you the way they treat you.
Man, and you know, Jay, we use sports as a vehicle to teach lessons. And I hope the coach learned a valuable lesson, and I hope his kids learned a valuable lesson also. Never lose your cool. And I try not to get involved in the refs. Like you said, sometimes we do get emotional. We do get frustrated. But with that being said, Jay, you cannot lose your cool, and you cannot throw a chair too. So hopefully the young man realized that he did wrong.
Yeah, I hope he did too. And, you know, his assistant coach also threw a chair as the team was leaving the court. So it should be both of them should be they should be out of a job. They should really be out of a job. And the real sad part, Lance, is that his athletic director was in attendance. And the athletic director had gotten thrown out earlier in the game in the third quarter. And the principal was in the stands and she ain't do nothing. So, you know, they got a cultural problem at that particular school. And the mayor of Gary and the school superintendent of Gary, we need to be hearing from them. They need to be the two main people handling this situation because obviously it's some problems going on at that charter school. And
So
if the principal,
let me ask you this: do you think the referee said some things to him he shouldn't have said?
Good point. Not sure. Don't know. Haven't heard that. Didn't hear that from anyone else. The coach from the other team didn't say that. The athletic director of the home school, he was there. He didn't say the refs did anything. He said the referees missed calls, but he said they always miss calls. You know, he was like, but I ain't never seen nobody throw a chair at him, you know. And then the guy was cursing, and he tried to calm him down. The guy, you know, Coach Moore said, allegedly said, I don't give a F that my principal is here, and the athletic director is on. So it's a whole situation out there in Gary, and I hope they handle it. But we're going to get ready to get out of here. But before we do, it's your birthday. So we got you a present. We got
what you get from me, Jay? What you get? What you get from me?
So Maya, let's start giving Lance his presents here.
Are you doing something? Whoa! 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 Y'all wrong. The policy, Johnny. You know what?
I do not divulge my sources, sir. When I do.
Look at Paula in the front row. That looks like my wife. And that young man in that sweater in the back with a lopsided haircut. He looked. That's a nice sweater. Ooh, my mother dressed me up great for that day. Ooh,
and
boy,
this was their blooming love. What is this? Kindergarten? Is this kindergarten?
You know what? That might be first grade.
First grade.
Kindergarten.
Who would have
That's tough.
Holy, so you had your eye on it in kindergarten, you rascal, you.
She had her eyes on me.
Oh my God.
That's how I tell the story. She
Oh
doesn't
my
tell it
God.
that way. That's how I tell the story.
Okay, and then I think we have more too. Oh my God, who is this guy?
Oh, that boy looked like he's in decent shape. Look at that TV smile. That's a TV smile. Oh, come on, y'all. Not the little tighty shorts. I used to have to put those shorts on the ironing board just so they could stretch. But check out my shoulder muscles, though. Boy, that man looks sweet right there. Ooh, that's a Mac Irvin haircut. Mac must have my fade.
I want to know where you stole the gold chain from. Chain snatcher. Wow. Oh my God. Please tell me this was your professional look.
What y'all doing? The then and now challenge?
Well, I'm just glad you're in the now looking at these pictures. Oh my God. Well, there you go. That's our birthday present for you, straight from the SportsZone Chicago family. On behalf of all of our viewers and all of you for chiming in, thank you so much. Your wife has the final comment of the night. Lord have mercy. That's what I say.
You know what? I started drinking milk. Then she was like, "Ooh, that man is sexy." See, you know how some people, they get a little older, they fall off. I got old and I fell up.
Oh God. All right. For my crazy cousin Lassie Irvin, our super producer Maya Kai, Sean Sierra, and everybody else, go to the Chicago Crusader website and answer our poll question on what was the best Super Bowl performance in history. I'm Jason Palmer. We will see you all next week at 6 o'clock for another episode of What's Up, Cuz. Good night, everybody.